定嘅機制，去令到工人可以平等咁樣同資方談判，最後爭取到一個即係對工人係合理嘅一個結果。咁但係呢個結果大家可能覺得唔緊要啊，我哋即係香港自由社會資方我哋大家覺得個合約唔好或者唔合理，你咪辭工咯。咁但係呢個當然係一個好流行嘅即係自由市場嘅一個咁嘅講法啦。咁但係喺集體談判權嗰個爭取嘅背後就係勞資嗰個平等咧係點樣先造成？嗱，喺絕大部分嘅行業嚟講咧，即係勞方咧係必定係一個即係不利嘅條件嘅。咁點解咧？因為喺大家打工仔啦，你份合約係點嘅咧？你諗翻你份合約。呢份合約當然有你個名啊。咁同你簽嗰個邊個咧？你梗係話你老闆啦，即係唔係嗰個你老闆？咁但係留意喎，嗰個即係你個上司或者老闆咧，唔係一個人嚟㗎，係咪？嗰個意思佢即係一個法人代表，即係話佢係代表個公司嚟同你簽㗎嘛。即係話你咧就係個人，你嘅對手唔係一個個人嚟㗎喎，佢係代表成個機構一個法人嘅身份同你簽立。一去到呢度你就明白點解即係勞資關係，你個別咁同佢傾咧係一定係不利。咁所以就係解釋點解一定要我哋即係而家爭取緊集體談判權背後成個理念就係你而家個人同間公司喎，你咪同個老闆一個人傾喎。嗱咁嘅時候就必定係不利。咁所以我哋就講緊點解要爭取集體談判權，令到咧我哋唔係話要爭取我哋工人即係完全去即係令到資方完全不利。而家講緊係一個平等嘅溝通嘅平台，令到可以即係唔好令到工人喺一個不利嘅情況啫。咁另外啦，講翻而家香港即係點樣保障即係工人勞工嗰個集體嗰個權益方面。咁當然頭先都提過啦，即係喺香港即係都有一定嘅呢個關於工會嘅即係工會條例啦。當然未必好完善啦。咁但係你哋都香港亦都有罷工嘅出現。咁大家會覺得唔係啊，香港有啲爭議有工會有乜嘢揾李卓人啦，唔中意可能揾工聯會都得。或者再唔高興咪罷工咯。咁大家似乎係咪香港嘅工人集體權益係咪已經有好好嘅保障咧？咁但係留意就係第一，香港雖然咧即係嗰個罷工嘅權咧係基本法定明咗嘅，不過好可惜我哋香港冇一個專屬嘅法例去確定成個罷工具體嘅情況點樣保障工人工會喺罷工裏面嘅權益。而家咧係喺即係唔係一個專屬嘅法例去保障。我知李卓人都提過，就係而家即係對罷工嘅時候對工人對工會嘅保障係不足嘅。咁更加嚴重就係咧有工會有得罷工，唔代表你工人嘅集體權益係獲得保障。咁點解咧？因為即係如果大家比較熟啦，我哋就係講緊勞動三權啊嘛。即係邊三權咧？就係嗰個集體談判權。一個組織權，即係講緊工會啦；另一個咧就係一個爭議權，即係講緊工業行動或者罷工。咁香港唔係即係雖然即係工會有工會罷工，雖然話即係冇個特別嘅專屬法例，但起碼都冇禁止啊。咁係咪即係話都好即係唔係佢冇差？但係留意我都想提出嘅地方就係咧，呢一個勞動三權、罷工權、工會權同埋一個嘅集體談判權三樣嘢咧。係一個應該係一籃子嘅權利，特別係集體談判權係三權裏面嘅最核心嘅元素。因為你工會搞嚟做乜咧？如果工會要嚟吃喝玩樂，當然香港好多係啦，即係公民都好多福利㗎。不過點解咧？啱食完但係工會有福利梗係重要，但係如果個工會只係提供即係嗰啲即係物質上嘅福利咧，即係真係未必係工會。最重要係個工會係爭取緊一個同資方幫工人爭取個合約集體嘅即係勞動合約，咁你先至係一個工會啊嘛，即係有啲咁嘅講法。另一樣罷工為乜先？ 你罷工為罷而罷咁，梗係唔係啦？你罷工係為咗改善你個待遇啊嘛。咁你罷工冇得一個人罷工㗎嘛，即係罷工係集體行為嚟㗎嘛。咁你點樣能夠最終爭取到嗰個權益？一定係一個集體嘅合同，一個咁嘅結果。咁但係喺呢個過程，咁你冇集體嘅談判權嘅保障，咁你工會同埋頭先講罷工，咁呢兩樣嘅變得就非常即係不能明白同好冇意義啦。咁同埋譬如話工會咁啊，即係可能人多或者在座好多工會理事代表啊，可能你哋都會遇到一個困難嘅。想或啲工友入工會幫到你，個工會點幫到你啊？佢而家問你，咁你最後咧你都好難答佢嘅，因為你有咩嘢揾我幫手咯？我揾你幫手得嘅，不過我啲公司唔理你，咁事實正常都係㗎。咁你同啲工友想鼓勵佢，希望佢加入工會係嘛嘅時候就好困難啦。咁你當結果就係工會嗰個即係你有權組織工會，不過咧根本上係冇乜誘因去令到工人去參加工會。咁即係嗰個工會咧，其實咧即係香港嘅工會就有名無實啦。即係表面上有，不過根本上咧都唔 facilitate 你去啲工人去參加嘅。所以你見到香港嗰個工人入會嗰個比例咧，唔係好高嘅。呢個係本身唔係話香港啲工人冷感呢啲唔係呢樣嘢，係政府成個法例本身背後其實係不鼓勵集體工人嗰個集體權益嘅。呢個係佢成個制度定出嗰個嘅結果嚟。咁最後咧講嗰個即係罷工權，大家知道即係啱啱嗰個碼頭嗰個罷工，好清楚都見到就係你冇集體談判權，有罷工嘅情況。OK， 你係公司可以喂你邊個係工人代表？或者佢可以頭先李卓人提到就係可以揀一啲對資方即係親資方或者對資方比較有利嘅工會。咁你點定咧？嗱，你個集體談判權一個具體法例咁就清楚睇到邊個先係工人嘅代表，可以有一個法定嘅程序，咁啊減少咗個爭議。咁啊其實更好喎，對資方都好喎，因為咧即係資方係可以咧清楚知道我係揾個邊個談判對象，咁然後咧就其實可以順利咁樣去同工人溝通，達成協議，然後結束一個咁嘅工業行動。所以其實咧呢個咧，唔好以為有集體談判權對資方不利，資方其實有好處嘅喎，對喺工業行動上面，佢係有個機制，知道邊個係認頭啊嘛，然後可以溝通，然後結束工潮啊嘛。咁而家冇嘅，咁嘅時候咁你同邊個傾咧？即係資方，或者你又話代表，佢又話代表，調翻轉更嚴重就係佢揾一啲有利自己嘅代表啦。咁所以我留意就係、即係勞動三權係應該一籃子咁樣睇，咁我大家要即係可以留意一下，咁多。
But you can probably sit here, okay, and sit here. Yeah.
Thank you. It's the first time that I'm coming to Hong Kong as a ILO official. I've been to Hong Kong a number of times. And Lee, Elizabeth, and many I've seen over the last 10 years or more. And it's a great honor to be able to speak with you as an ILO person. Since I don't have much time, I'm not so sure that I can cover everything that I've prepared, but I'll try to somehow respond to some of the points that were raised by the previous speakers. So, as Professor Yao mentioned, collective bargaining is the right of workers to be able to negotiate on equal footing with employers. And in recent days, collective bargaining has been a very important issue for new groups of workers in many countries. The workers such as train operators or some cement drivers, or those kind of workers who have different kind of employment contract, self-on account employment, subcontracting arrangements. So collective bargaining is being raised in those new settings. So collective bargaining continues to be a very important instrument, although it's been discussed for a long time. Skip this. Also this. Collective bargaining, as you can see by the fact that collective bargaining is becoming important in the new arrangements of employment. What it means is that collective bargaining is regarded as an important instrument to regulate the relationship between workers and employers in the new settings. New settings are such settings that it is difficult to have law to regulate every detail. So it allows flexibility to regulate, giving that opportunity to regulate to the workers, to the union, and to the employer, so that the law or the government does not have to provide detailed regulation. And that is one way the government can promote the labor market development and flexibility the labor market for employers requires. And that situation you will find from the very beginning of establishment of the right to collective bargaining. So collective bargaining, on the one hand, is a right of workers, the right that the workers have achieved, as the chairman mentioned, achieved in many countries through lots of pain, lots of struggle. And you said that maybe we don't have that kind of right in Hong Kong because Hong Kong workers, Hong Kong unions have not struggled or have not had too much pain as yet. But the idea of international experience and international principles and convention is that we learn things from the past, from history. So you establish the lessons into standards, into conventions. So the governments, when they are developing laws or policies, they can learn from this. And one thing the governments, workers, and employers have learned about collective bargaining is that on the one hand, collective bargaining is a fruit of the struggles and pains of workers, and it's something that workers can be proud of. But on the other hand, it's a very, very effective, functional instrument for regulating the labor market. What it is that collective bargaining allows the government to delegate the responsibility the government has towards the bipartite partners. And that is very much a part and parcel of the development of market economy. It is only in non-market economies that you find that collective bargaining is not yet well accepted as an important instrument or as an important way of doing things. And that's probably you find in planned economies or in economies which are not well developed. So it's very difficult to come here and learn in detail about the difficulties regarding collective bargaining. In terms of collective bargaining, there are, as Mr. Lee Seok-young mentioned, there are a number of components that needs to be addressed and provided for to ensure that there is a full or sufficient guarantee of the right of collective bargaining. One is recognition of trade unions, or another obligation of employers to recognize unions and to engage in collective bargaining. So what happens, the law will have some say in what happens if employer refuses to bargain or if an employer is not bargaining sincerely. So in many countries, there are specific laws, that procedural laws that address the failure on the part of employer not to reach an agreement, but not to engage in sincere bargaining itself. And also, of course, Mr. Lee mentioned about protection against unfair labor practices or anti-union discrimination. And of course, very important, there is a role of government in that. That is not only about developing the laws, but about establishing and operating an effective mediation processes, mediation mechanisms. So whenever there is a strike, whenever there is a difficulty in negotiation, public procedure, public body should be able to provide support to the two parties through mediation. I heard that in Hong Kong, that government mediation work or government facilitation work comes when there's a strike. It's something that I heard in China a lot. So in China, the government comes in to support negotiation whenever there's a strike. But there is no specific laws or provisions which lay down the principles and procedures for negotiation. Only when, after strike, the government can comes in. So we see in Hong Kong and China, but I was very surprised to learn that there's a very strong similarity between China and Hong Kong. Later on, I will come back to China. So, when, in terms of ILO principles regarding collective bargaining, when a government or country ratifies a convention, the government has a responsibility to take actions to put that convention into practice. And Hong Kong has ratified Convention 87 and 98 on freedom of association and collective bargaining. One key element in these two conventions is that government has a responsibility to provide an effective environment for collective bargaining to take place. It is the role of the government to provide that enabling condition. I'll come back to that about that